So myself, Suraj Rasal here. Let's see the detailed study on iOS architecture. Before starting with iOS architecture, first of all, just try to revise what we have seen in previous session. So in previous session, I had covered what are the basics related to the operating system. Also, we have already gone through the basics related to the desktop based operating system, or it might be the smartphone based operating system too. While learning basics of operating system, we already seen what is the role of each layer, including application, OS, kernel, and hardware layer also. We had a little bit brief introduction to how any application or how any task is executed through operating system. It might be in your desktop-based application, or it might be in your smartphone-based application. It might be for your desktop-based application, which is non-web-based. We have seen same thing related to the web-based application also. We already seen what is the role of task, subtask, then application, then the services, then the processes, or it might be the sub-processes. We have seen the role of thread, though not in more depth, but just brief introduction to those components of operating system. Also, to learn iOS architecture, as I had mentioned that you should have knowledge about Unix operating system though. That's why I had tried to cover the architecture of that is the basics related to the Unix operating system also. We have already seen, we had considered some examples because it is not just part to learn in more depth how Unix architecture works. I had considered some real-time examples to explain each layer of Unix operating system. We have already seen how camera application is used in smartphone, how the camera based hardware is accessed through the Unix architecture from application layer to the Unix OS layer, then through the hardware, how that is through kernel. Further, the hardware, how the output is generated, and the desired user will have the requested output, and so on. We already seen another example related to the your MP3 player application, which consists of your audio phones, audio phones in the sense your headphones, which required to have 3.5 jack of your smartphone. So in short, how the audio related hardware is supported through Unix based architecture. I had considered your web browser application also to understand how Unix architecture works and so on. So in those points, we have already seen the basics related to the Unix operating system, because to learn in more depth iOS architecture is a prerequisite. If you have learned in more depth like how Unix operating system works, it will be easy to understand the components of iOS architecture also. Now, before starting with iOS architecture, let's start with the history of iOS architecture.